round of heats, and then 2 finals as well. And we will run through the full racing order, starting with race number 2, 200 stock 9 to 12. Race number 3, junior Ditchbanger 10 to 13. And race number 4, Pro 206, Super 225 kids and junior girls under 200cc. So if we could have those first 3 races, once again, that is 200 stock 9 to 12, junior Ditchbanger 10 to 13, and Pro 206, Super 225 kids and junior girls under 200cc. Start making your way up to the staging area on the big track as we will begin racing there momentarily. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our first race of the year for X Racing Sunday Funday Racing at Steeplechase in Mazeppa, Minnesota, where we are live streaming tonight's events for free on MBTVsports.com and through the MBTV Sports affiliated Facebook and YouTube pages. We have officially started the live stream for our first race of the day, our 120 stock and 120 improved stock classes. We had a slight alteration. We're going to go through our heat race and both of the main events for our 120 stock class first. Give these little tykes a chance to get their racing in for the evening, and then get back into the trailer, head back home so that they can warm up a little bit for the evening. So we are officially starting our first race of the day, our 120 stock and 120 improved stock class.
2 tracks built here at Steeplechase Ski Resort in Mazeppa, Minnesota. What you see on the live stream right now are the 120 stock and 120 improved stock youngsters racing on the micro track, which is built at the south end of the Steeplechase Ski Resort facility. Up the top of the hill, there is our first checkered flag of the evening as we wrap up our first race on the micro track. My name is Dan Bailey, joined with Zach Bailey for the first event of the Winter Racing Series, X Racing Sunday Funday program at Steeplechase Ski Resort in Mazeppa, Minnesota.
Our first checkered flag taker of the evening going to be the 292 of Elliot Massman, taking over a close, heated battle between him and the 257 of Parker Reeves. Just about a couple feet in between the two racers. Massman taking the early race win in our first race of the day on the mini track that we have up here for our 120 racers. You can see on the screen right now the view from the front straightaway of our big track, which we will be heading to momentarily for the rest of today's races.
But we will return to the micro track for the main event for our 120 improved stock and our 120 stock racers as well. Zach mentioned that Parker Reeves and Elliot Massman had a nice little battle in the 120 improved stock class. In the 120 stock class, we have 7 additional competitors. Nash Betterly from Cook, Minnesota is atop the number 22 snow machine. Bowden Nelson from Foley, Minnesota will be atop the 25B. Felix Ryan out of Millville, Minnesota on the 107. Riley Stanek from Zimmerman, Minnesota riding the 126. Finnegan Mickelson from Sorona, Wisconsin atop the 444. Amelia Mickelson also from Sorona, Wisconsin atop the 555. And Colton Lance from Claremont, Minnesota will be riding the 709. There you see our riders and the start line with the parents helping them get prepared for their first release. This is 120 stock class. We will have several different classes competing this evening on round 1 of the X Racing Sunday Funday program. The 120 stock class is completely stock, as the name implies. The sleds in this class must run the following gearing ratios. Polaris is set to run 420s. Arctic Cat, Yamaha, and Ski-Doo are set to run 410. They can alter gears. They can run a taller top or smaller bottom, but the final drive ratio must equal what is called out. No studs allowed in this particular class. 6850 RPM. Rev limiter must be ran. Again, this is 120 stock on the micro track at the top of the Steeplechase Ski Resort. Sunday Funday program enjoying a lot of support in the area. A big thank you to the fine folks at Hunter Huel Memorial Foundation. The fine folks here at Steeplechase have made the entire snowmobile family welcome. All of the racers are enjoying what they are seeing thus far. The folks at DLO Excavating joining us for the Sunday Funday program, along with CNA Pro Skis, CF Moto, Husqvarna, Aeroplax Corporation, Ruck Excavating, Studboy, Traction, and Fox Shocks, a few of the premier Sunday Funday sponsors for the 2025-2026 Sunday Funday program.
And speaking of the 2025-2026 racing season, we just have a fresh announcement made this afternoon. What started off as a 6-round series has officially become a 8-round series. So our 3rd and 4th rounds have been added January 3rd and 4th. So once again, Saturday, January 3rd, Sunday, January 4th, we will be back here for the next 2 rounds of the 2025-2026 Sunday Funday Racing Series before we come back to Steeplechase Saturday and Sunday, January 17th, 18th, and we will round off our season February 21st and 22nd back here at Steeplechase in Mazeppa, Minnesota. But right now, we are here for the first weekend of races, December 13th, 14th, for our first 2 rounds of the 2025-2026 season.
So at the very least, an 8-round winter series here at Steeplechase Ski Resort. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could sneak in another round or 2? Who knows how this series schedule may progress as the excitement level ramps up through the winter. Speaking of the excitement level, everybody is abuzz with the facility here at Steeplechase Ski Resort as we have let our youngsters go again. This is our second heat race, 120 stock snowmobiles on the micro oval, as these youngsters are getting a chance to learn the sport and hone their craft atop these 120 micro machines.
Starting off the race strong, just like he finished the last one, the 292 of Elliot Massman leading the charge, pulling away. The 257 of Parker Reeves sitting in second currently, got stuck beside another competitor, but he is slowly but surely gaining some ground on your leader, the 292 of Massman.
Top 2 trying to pull away from 3rd and 4th, and as well a slight gap beginning to establish itself between our race leader and the second place racer, who goes a little wide coming out of that turn after the start finish line. There you can see that tight 2-rider battle for 3rd and 4th as they come around the north end of the micro oval and make their way back towards the south end.
Sitting in 4th, currently the 126 of Riley Stanek, holding on strong, trying to put some pressure on that 3rd place racer. I believe that was the 25K of Nelson, if I'm seeing things correctly.
Elliot Massman, your current race leader. And checkered flag is not too far away, as you can see our youngsters continuing to battle on the micro oval here at the top of the bluffs at Steeplechase Ski Resort in Mazeppa, Minnesota. Quite a wild Saturday evening. The wind is whipping, the temperatures have dropped, and it is a cool, crisp Saturday night. But all of our competitors well bundled up. The rest of the family members bundled as well. Everybody doing their darndest to stay warm on what has turned out to be a frigid Saturday night. While the sun was still up, we were already down at 0, and the temperatures continue to drop, and the winds continue to increase.
And just like that, our racing has officially completed on the little track up top, which means we'll be moving over to the large track here in just a few moments. Race number 2, 200 stock 9 to 12. Race number 3, Junior Ditchbanger 10 to 13. And race number 4, Pro 206, Super 225 kids and junior girls under 200cc should all be up in the staging area as we are just about to begin our second race of the evening.
For those of you watching on the MBTV Sports live stream, what you're seeing right now is the start-finish line, and that camera angle is headed towards the west. So this is actually the south straightaway, the start-finish straightaway. Out to the west of this south straightaway is the staging area where our racers will stage as we get ready for our first race event. As a matter of fact, we can give you the starting lineup for our first race on the big track.
Starting off, we have the 16 of Ringgold, Wisconsin's Alex Lang racing for Snap-on Tools. Side by side with the Speedworks, N Motorsports, Trollo Motorsports, number 23 of Liam Peterson out of Lino Lakes, Minnesota.
Additionally, in this lineup, we'll have Logan Reeves out of North Branch, Minnesota, riding the Patties on 70 Winter Wisconsin Polaris, number 257. Isla Borgschatz from Big Lake, Minnesota, atop the CNA Pro Klim Prairie Mountain Properties 398. Jace Wurzberger from New Ulm, Minnesota, will be atop the 612 machine. Litchfield, Minnesota's J.C. Carlson on the 708. Henrik Storley from Elko, Newmarket, Minnesota on the 910. And Tyler Custodio from Prior Lake, Minnesota with a 989. 8 racers in 200 stock 9 to 12-year-old class. They are lined up at the extreme west end of the main straightaway. And here we go, our first start on the big track. If you were to take a look at this racing facility from the air, it would look like a lima bean. A long, straight start-finish line straightaway. Down to the fall-away field that you see them taking there between turns 1 and 2. The track really funnels up. Give us a very tight Vicendit squeeze before they climb up against to this slight right-hand kink. And then the black diamond drop takes them back down to the bottom of the racing area before they get to the west end high banks where you see the racers right now. And they begin the climb back up to the start-finish line straightaway. And that will complete our first lap on the big track here at Steeplechase Ski Resort,
where we have already seen a change for position up at the lead. The 989 of Custodio had the early race lead, got the whole shot, but it's now the 16 of Lang taking over that top spot. All the while, the 910 of Storley sitting right behind in third place, trying to see if he might be able to mix it up in the top spots there. Looks to the inside of Custodio. Nothing quite going there as we make our way back up from that black diamond drop on the north end of the track.
Once the 16 of Alex Lang was able to sneak over and take that lead away from the competition, we had a brief battle for first and second. Now Lang trying to pull away, and we have a tighter shootout for second, third, and even the fourth place racer is in the mix there. There's your top 4 heading into fall-away field.
612 of Jace Wurzberger trying to see if he might make a move up onto the podium for this first heat race on the big track there. So it's currently the 16 of Lang, 989 of Custodio, 910 of Storley, who's able to make the move into second place now. Wurzberger still sitting back and forth, seeing if he might be able to mix it up with Storley and Custodio any moment now.
Nice side-by-side move in that little right-hand kink before they get to the black diamond drop and head down into the banking.
White flag is out. One more lap to go for the 16 of Lang. Storley's been putting some pressure on him right behind. Will we be able to see another battle for the lead here in this final half lap?
Right here's where Storley made the move on the prior lap and was able to sneak up into the number 2 spot in the running order. Now as they head back down to the bottoms, running the inside lane of the West End High Banks. Going to try to mount a challenge. It'll be a drag race to our first checkered flag at the big track of the night.
And taking it over, checkered flag flies for your heat race winner. It's going to be the 16 of Alex Lang taking your first heat race win on the big track. 910 of Henrik Storley is going to end up finishing second. And it was the 989 of Tyler Custodio rounding out your top 3 for their first race on the big track, 200 stock 9 to 12.
Camera angle on the MBTV Sports live stream right now, mounted at the top of the chairlift, looking to the north, down into the valley. We are at the top of the ski hill here at Steeplechase Ski Resort in mighty Mazeppa, Minnesota. Beautiful facility. So happy to be at Steeplechase Ski Resort for the 2025-2026 Sunday Funday Series as part of the X Racing program.
Race number 3 going to be hitting the track next. Junior Ditchbanger 10 to 13. Race 4 Pro 206 Super 225 kids, junior girls under 200cc will follow. And then our following race after that will be race number 5 kids Ditchbanger 8 to 12. All of those racers should be making their way up to staging and should be in staging if they're not already. But we have quite a group of races for you, 19 races this evening. Our format is going to look like this. We're going to run through all of our races in a form of heats. Then we'll come back for our first set of finals on the evening, run them all back again, and then we will come back one final time for our second round of main events. So we will be seeing all of these racers out here at least 3 times each throughout the evening. One set of heats, and then 2 sets of finals.
4-racer lineup for the junior Ditchbanger 10 to 13-year-old class, which is making their way to the start line right now. Harrison Resnick from Elk River, Minnesota on the 00, with Axel Flatham from Northwoods, Iowa, riding the 55.
The 72 of Brettley Crustmark out of Pine Island, Minnesota, coming up to the line as well, alongside the 499 of Harrison Hurst, racing the Southland Auto and Diesel Bluff Brothers Brewing, number 499 out of Spring Valley, Minnesota. Looks like 2 of our scheduled 4 sleds have made the call so far. Believe our flagman is looking to see if we might be having those final 2 racers head out soon, but it'll all come down to whether or not they make the call before we go green flag racing any second now.
While we wait for our junior Ditchbanger 10 to 13-year-old class to fill up on the start line here, gives us a chance to reflect back to what we've already experienced here tonight at the Steeplechase Ski Resort in Mazeppa, Minnesota, during our racers drivers meeting, riders meeting, a great group and gathering of all the competitors and family members, and a great collection of prizes already handed out to some of these racers by some of the great supporters and sponsors of the 2025-2026 X-Racing Sunday Funday program.
We had some sponsor gifts out there from all sorts of our sponsors for the season, for the year. Hunter Hool Memorial Foundation, Waldock Customs, Rock Speed Effects. But now back to the track. Race number 3, about to start things off. Green flag flies, and we are racing.
3 of the expected 4 making the call for the junior Ditchbanger 10 to 13-year-old class. You can see we've got them nose to tail as they head into turn number 1. Race leader's going to take a wide run around the fall-away field turn, head around the send it, squeeze, and begin to make his way across the back straightaway, the lower straightaway, as he jumps up onto the high banks and prepares to make the climb to the start-finish line to complete lap number 1.
499 of Harrison Hurst, currently sitting in second, but out front it's the 72 of Brettley Crustmark, who's holding on to the early race lead, keeping a little bit of distance between him and the 499 of Hurst, with our third place competitor about an equidistance back.
Crustmark took that first lap very wide in turns 1 and 2. Second time in there, was able to wrestle that machine down to the inside of that turn, and it seemed to suit that sled much better, and he continues to hold the lead as he completes another lap, this time across the line.
I believe we are doing 4-lap heat races here, so this brings us to about the halfway mark of this race number 3, and the battle is heating up. Hurst is starting to gain some ground. Had a pretty good run through that east end fall-away field corner, and he's trying to reach the 72 of Crustmark. Goes side by side over on the west end high banks. It'll be a drag race on the front straightaway to see if we're going to have a new race leader.
Nice to see Hurst try an alternate line around the high banks there. Took it all the way to the outside, and he's going to keep it on the outside here at the east end as well. So side-by-side action from both sleds at the front of the field.
Crustmark goes high, which gives Hurst the chance to go down to the inside, but Crustmark's going to battle back, takes that top spot over once again. Hurst goes to the outside. That line's been working pretty well for him. Ducks down low behind Crustmark. It's going to be a drag race down the line on the front straightaway, side by side at the checkered. And I believe it was a slight advantage to the 72 of Crustmark. Hurst unofficially finishing in second place, with our third place competitor rounding out the field.
Great way to start out our evening. It is a windy, frigid affair, but the action heated up mightily. In race number 2, the junior Ditchbanger 10 to 13-year-old class put on a mighty show. We'll get ready for our next race on the big track, and I think we're going to see some great speeds here, because we've got Super Kids 225, Junior Girls, and Pro 206 racers coming out of staging and headed towards the start line.
Starting lineup's going to look like this in the first of three classes. Pro 206, we have the 25B of Bowden Nelson racing for Shima Exteriors, Jaeger Construction, the Osseo Nickel Coffee Shop out of Foley, Minnesota, alongside North Branch, Minnesota's 257 of Parker Reeves, piloting the Patties on 70 Polaris, number 257.
In the Super 225 kids class, Hayes Carlson out of Litchfield, Minnesota will be atop the 409 with Jace Wurtzberger from New Ulm, Minnesota on the Uncle Mark's Sled Parts Carbide Podcast 612.
And all alone in the junior girls under 200cc class, we're going to see Litchfield, Minnesota's 708 of JC Carlson.
Very similar to action that you might see in motocross district racing, where we have multiple classes on the track at the same time. So not only are they racing for place on the track in the overall running order, but obviously they've also got to be aware of where their competitor in their specific class is. So, Zach, this adds a whole new perspective to racing action when they've got to battle both the racer in their class and the rest of the field as well.
Exactly, and we have our first green flag out front early. It's the 612 of Jace Wurtzberger with a great advantage over the 109 right behind him.
Wurtzberger on the 612 machine, your early race leader in race number 4. Wurtzberger racing in the Super 225 kids class. You can see Wurtzberger in the orange gear there trying to pull away. I have noticed in these opening races here, we're seeing the racers kind of tend to the inside of the West End High Banks turn there. We did have one racer in the prior race who took it all the way to the top of the banking. There's the 409 of Hayes Carlson holding on to the number 2 spot. So top 2 racers battling in the Super 225 kids class.
Wurtzberger now onto the back straightaway, making his way through the Black Diamond drop on the north end into the west end high banks, trying to set some distance between himself and the 409 of Hayes Carlson. Nice little gap there developing between our top 2 competitors, as now Carlson's making his way onto the front straightaway here, following behind Wurtzberger. Another lap in the books here.
2 Carlsons out of Litchfield on the track at this point in time. I believe they may have broken the Pro 206 class out of this group so as not to be mixing multiple classes that they didn't want on the track at the same time. Right now it's Jace Wurtzberger, your race leader. There he's just caught a glimpse of JC Carlson sneaking across the finish line. JC's running in the junior girls class, so JC out there mixing it up with the Super 225 kids class racers as well.
I believe I just saw the white flag fly. One more lap to go for the 612 of Jace Wurtzberger.
Wurtzberger working through the Send It, Squeeze the Send It. One of the runs here at the Steeplechase Ski Resort in Mazeppa, Minnesota. And Wurtzberger is going to sneak around to the left of the 708 of JC Carlson. Put JC, the 257 of Parker Reeves that was. I misspoke there, and I apologize to Parker. Parker Reeves out there on the track.
Checkered flag flies, and it's the 612 of Jace Wurtzberger who's going to take the heat race win today in the Super 225 kids class, race number 4 on the big track here. 409 of Hayes Carlson going to follow behind in second overall as we round out race number 4. Up next will be race number 5, Kids Ditchbanger 8 to 12. Race 6, 200 open, 200 stock 4 to 8. And then race 7, Junior Ditchbanger 13 to 17 should all be up in the staging area right now. But up next, race number 5, Kids Ditchbanger 8 to 12.
Starting lineup, we have 3 racers in this class. The Kids Ditchbanger 8 to 12-year-old class will have Amelia Tesmer racing out of Millville, Minnesota with a 33 machine. Logan Reeves from North Branch, Minnesota on the Patties on 70 257. And Hovey Heineme from Prior Lake, Minnesota riding the Rewire Rabe Sports 395.
Green flag flies. And out front, it looks like it's the 395 of Heineme holding on to the solid lead. It was the 257 of Logan Reeves currently sitting in second right behind. But out front and pulling away, Jovi Heineme holding on strong after getting that whole shot early on.
enjoying a comfortable advantage over the second place sled that's just now making its way towards the start-finish line. That is the 257 of Logan Reeves, and Amelia Tesmer with a 33 rounds out the running order in the kids' Ditchbanger 8 to 12-year-old class. There's a good shot of Amelia with the 33 machine headed back to the west end and the high banks there. Amelia down, not really right at the bottom, just running right through the middle of the high banks. And one thing that you may miss from the perspective of the live stream coverage is just how steep and how wide the West End high banks are there. I would say that's most definitely the widest part of the racetrack, probably a solid 70 feet wide from the extreme inside lane all the way to the extreme outside lane.
Misspoke earlier. It is the 33 of Amelia Tesmer, your current race leader, holding on strong to that lead. She makes her way up through the West End high banks one more time. Onto the front straightaway over the start-finish line, where the white flag has been shown. One more lap to go for Amelia Tesmer out front in the lead.
Logan Reeves still on the track with the 257 machine. Logan holding on to the number 2 spot. There's the white flag as Logan crosses the finish line. One more lap to go. And the camera heads back to your race leader, Amelia Tesmer, on the 33 machine. The Millville, Minnesota racer takes it to the top of the West End high banks. Oh no, she exits the track early. Amelia may have thought that was the checkered flag. It was just the white flag. Thankfully, Amelia had enough of a lead and is going to be able to hold that top spot. Finally, the checkered flag flies, and Amelia survives a potential mistake there and is able to take the win in the kids' Ditchbanger 8 to 12-year-old class.
A moment that all racers have experienced at least once in their career, mistaking that white flag for the checkered. Luckily for Amelia, however, she was able to realize her mistake there before she got too far off the racing surface. Ends up taking home a heat race win in the meantime.
As we get ready for race number 6 on the big track, which will be 200 open and 200 stock, we do want to extend a thank you to the fine folks at Woody's Traction, Podine's Power Equipment, Hanco Utilities, Moto Pros, and Cannon Power Sports.
Green flag flies for race number 6. We have our 200 open class, the 398 of Isla Borschatz and the 612 of Jace Wurzberger.
In the 200 stock class, Colton Kneifel from Newmarket, Minnesota on the 85. Rylan Betterly from Cook, Minnesota riding the 99. Hayes Carlson out of Litchfield on the 409. And Owen Lance from Claremont, Minnesota on the 410.
Out front with the early lead, taking the first official lap in the books. Setting the distance between himself and the rest of the field. Putting on a blistering pace there out front. I believe that is the 612 of Wurzberger. He's been having a pretty solid day so far out here on the slopes of Steeplechase in Mazeppa, Minnesota. And he's got almost a full straightaway advantage over the rest of the field in tow behind him.
Interesting to watch this track develop as the sleds continue to pound the new snow that's been laid down by the owners here at Steeplechase Ski Resort in Mazeppa, Minnesota. What we are seeing now, early race action in our 200 open, 200 stock class. We do see some whoops and some obstacles beginning to develop as they continue to carve their way through the track. There's the 99 machine of Rylan Betterly working around the kink, and Rylan is going to go a lap down to the 612 of Jace Wurzberger.
Sitting in second, it's the 85 of Kneifel out of Newmarket, Minnesota. Kneifel currently holding on to the lead in the 200 stock 4 to 8 class as the white flag flies for the 612 of Wurzberger. One more lap to go.
You can see the inside lane there at the east end of the track. You could call that turns 1 and 2. Some of the speed bumps beginning to develop. They had the groomers out on the track all afternoon and into the early evening portion of the program, trying to work this race surface into the best condition possible. The winds continue to whip, the sleds continue to pound the snow, and those bumps and ruts are developing as the evening progresses. Side-by-side action there as the 85 of Colton Kneifel sneaks past the 99 of Rylan Betterly, that was, I believe.
Yep, Kneifel now into the west and High Banks sitting in second overall, but leading that 200 stock 4 to 8 class. Goes up onto the front straightaway here. Checkered flies, and it's going to be the 612 of Jace Wurzberger with the overall race win. The 85 of Neifel, second overall, going to take the heat race win in the 200 stock 4 to 8 class.
Nice to see battles for position raging on in all our classes. We still want to get a couple of those racers to the finish line to take the checkered flag, but we will set the scene with starting lineup for race number 7, which will be our junior Ditchbanger 13 to 17-year-olds. Also in staging should be transition 8 to 10-year-olds. That would be race number 8. And we would also be looking for racers in race number 9, Leaf Spring class. But right now, junior Ditchbanger, 13 to 17-year-old class.
Starting lineup's going to look like this. Racing for Phil's Lawn Service. The place in Protvin, it is the 5 out of Cresco, Iowa, Reese Allendike, alongside the 41 of Nora Tesmer. Lyric Knighton on the 59, and the 521 of Julia Olson. Round out your field as the green flag flies.
Speed's increasing a little bit in this junior Ditchbanger 13 to 17-year-old class. Top 2 battling for first and second. The 5 of Reese Olendike battling the 521 of Julie Olson. Olson holding on to that number 2 spot as they work their way around the west end of the track layout and head back towards the finish line to complete lap number 1. Top 2 trying to pull away from a very tight battle for 3rd and 4th.
On the front straightaway, there's about a 4 sled length gap. Now cut down to a 1 sled length gap. Olsen trying to put the move on Allendike. Pushes a little too hard. Goes into the high stuff over on the east end of the track. That gives Allendike a chance to pull away slightly. But there's still only a few sled length gap in between our top 2 racers. As we go onto the front straightaway, it looks like they're pushing them out onto the front a little bit more. Give them a little bit space to race before we get back to that battle for 3rd and 4th.
Did have 1 sled stalled to the inside of the climb there. You're coming up a hill from the bottom of the west end high banks to get back onto the front straightaway, and we had 1 sled stalled there, so they're trying to motion the racers to the outside of that climb, working their way up onto the front straightaway. I believe they may have gotten that sled restarted again, so our racer is going to be able to use the lane that they choose. Top 2 still battling for the lead.
Out front, it's still the 5 of Reese Allendike holding on strong to the lead. Julia Olson sitting in second, right behind, still trying to battle for that lead. We see the 41 of Tesmer, I believe, currently standing in 4th, which leaves Knighton in our 3rd place spot.
The only thing that we may have incorrect is if it was Knighton or Tesmer that stalled there, so that may alter the finishing positions there. Checkered flag is out. Reese Olendike on the number 5 machine, I believe, unofficially going to get the checkered flag and the win there. Julia Olson made a great charge there in the closing laps with a 5:21, coming across the line unofficially in second. And we get ready for race number 8, transition 8 to 10-year-olds. We have 4 sleds, 4 racers in this lineup. In staging behind them, competitors in race number 9, Leaf Spring class, and race number 10, transition 8 to 12 combined. But the starting lineup for transition 8 to 10 looks like this.
We have the 25K of Cashton Nelson racing out of Foley, Minnesota, along with Newmarket, Minnesota's Colton Neifel on the 85.
On the 627, Ellis Middlestadt from Racine, Minnesota, and Tyler Custodio from Prior Lake, Minnesota on the 989. Flag is up, racers away. Top 3 going to battle for the lead as they head to the east end and make their way into the turn. It's downhill from turn number 1 into turn number 2, and the track really does tighten up. It's a bit of a funnel coming down that hill to what we would call maybe the turn 2 left-hand turn, the send it squeeze, we're calling it tonight, as it squeezes the racers together.
Custodio out front with the whole shot. Neifel right behind him in second, but we've got company. Our 3rd place racer ducking down to the inside, trying to make a move up to that 2nd place spot. Not quite going to be able to do it just now, but Neifel goes the outside route, which gives our 3rd place competitor a peek down to the inside, trying to make a move there.
Side-by-side battle for 2nd and 3rd. The 85 machine of Neifel holding on to that number 2 spot. Use that outside lane, and he uses it again down on the west end high banks there to retain his grasp on the number 2 spot in that 2-rider battle for 2nd and 3rd. But there's your race leader across the line.
The battle right now is for second and third. Custodio's out front, holding on strong to the lead. Knifel's holding on to that battle for second, and he's trying to move up. Custodio gets a little slideways there on the north end of the track, which gives Knifel a chance to pull up ever so slightly. But now Custodio's back on the gas, pulling away, trying to set himself apart from that battle for 2 and 3. White flag is flying. One more lap to go for our racers as Custodio puts another lap in the books. Knifel currently sitting in second.
Looks like that battle for the lead might be intensifying just a little bit. The 989 of Custodio out front, a little slow in the squeeze there. Let's see if that will give Knifel an opportunity to close the gap and mount a challenge before they can make it back to the checkered flag.
Custodio is doing really good on this uphill run into the west bank, but this time Knifel gives him a run for his money. It's going to be a drag race down to the line, but Custodio's got the space he needs to take the checkered flag. Tyler Custodio going to be your heat race winner today in the transition 8 to 10 class. Colton Knifel going to finish second place, just behind. Up next, race number 9, our Leaf Spring class. Going to have 4 competitors out there today in that class. After that, race 10, transition 8 to 12 combined, and race 11, Ditchbanger 90 to 09, heat 1 will be coming out after that. But in their Leaf Spring class, your lineup's going to go like this.
On the number 1 ride, we'll have William Radke from Mazeppa, Minnesota, supported by Steeplechase. Jack Mackey from Hudson, Wisconsin on the 159. Curtis Turner out of Hudson with the 284. And Brian Witham from St. Paul, Minnesota, riding the 580.
All 4 of our racers in close quarters going into that hole shot corner. It's anyone's game right now. Out front, we have one racer pulling away ever so slightly. That's the 284 of Curtis Turner, but he's got company. Down to the inside, Turner's back to second. 580 of Witham up to the lead. It's a battle. Ooh, they may have touched there, but Turner is still holding on to the lead. Witham looking on the inside, trying to make a move up to that top spot.
Name of this series is Sunday Funday. Even though it's a crisp and cool Saturday night, they are turning up the heat in that side-by-side battle for the lead as Witham tried to work to the inside of the 284 of Turner. Turner, though, retains his hold on the top spot. Witham back to second. Let's see if Brian will be able to mount another charge and present a challenge to him for the lead. Meanwhile, 2-rider battle for third and fourth rages on, coming out of the west end high banks, headed towards that front straightaway.
Now we've got a tight-knit battle for the lead up front with Turner and Witham. A very close battle for third and fourth just behind between Radke and Mackey. But out front, as it has been all race, it is still the 284 of Curtis Turner holding on strong to that lead as he goes to the outside. Witham still trying to make that low line work, seeing if he might be able to draw a little bit closer and regain that battle going on as the white flag flies.
One more trip around the Steeplechase Ski Resort race circuit for our Leaf Spring competitors. It's Curtis Turner on the Cat 284 machine, your race leader. Curtis takes a wide exit of turn number 2, the send it squeeze, retains his hold on the lead around the right-hand kink and headed towards the high banks again. Here comes Witham, maybe a late race challenge.
Onto the front straightaway one final time. Checkered flag is going to fly. He held it from flag to flag, though. It's the 284 of Curtis Turner taking the win today here in the Leaf Spring Heat Race. The 580 of Brian Witham going to finish second as that battle for third and fourth crosses the finish line as well.
They were side by side. That was Radke and Mackey trying to make a run for a top 3 finish in their Leaf Spring Heat Race. Race number 10 will be next on the Steeplechase race course. Transition 8 to 12 combined. In staging behind them should be Ditchbanger 1990 to 09. Heat 1 and Ditchbanger 1990 to 09, Heat 2. That would be race 11 and 12. But in race 10, we've got Alex Lang on the 16, Cashton Nelson on the 25K, JC Carlson on the 708, Everett Storley with a 939, and Tyler Custodio with a 989. And away they go. 6 racers on the track in our transition 8 to 12 combined.
A 3-wide battle for the hole shot out front. It's the 708 of JC Carlson sitting in second as Carlson goes down. Racers able to avoid her on each side.
Got a sled up on its side, and JC is able to get up under her own power. Nice to see there.
Out front, though, the 627
Yellow flag condition, local yellow, no passing under yellow flag conditions. They will retain their position in order. They will safely make their way past the downed rider there, as it looks like we've got that sled righted again, and then they can pick up the speed once they've cleared that incident in turn 2.
627 holding on to the lead. Right behind in second, it is the 939 of Everett Storley holding on to that second place spot, but he's got some company right behind. Taking a look here at what happened with Carlson down in turns 1 and 2. Took the low line, left side of the sled, just got a little too high there, went up and over. She was able to get back up under her own power, but definitely still scary to see. Nothing you always like seeing. Out front, though, it's still that 627 machine holding on to the lead.
627 out front in the transition 8 to 12 combined class. We do apologize for that racer, and the family and the supporters don't have a name for the pilot atop the 627, but one more lap to go for our nameless race leader. Transition 8 to 12 combined on the track.
Storley still holding on to a solid second place, but he's got company right behind. There's a nice gap there between our leader and Storley as they make their way one final time down the Black Diamond drop and up into the West End high banks over on the west end of the track.
627 riding the inside lane, as we've seen most of our competitors doing. However, second place racer pushes it up into the mid groove. Checkered flag is out. The 627 will get the win. Across the line, second, third, fourth, and fifth, the remainder of the field.
Nice tight racing there through all of our competitors. I believe I saw battles all throughout the field as we move into our Ditchbanger 90 to 09 heat race number 1 of 2. Following this class, we will have Ditchbanger 90 to 09 heat 2. And then race number 13, Junior 10 to 13, and Junior 14 to 17 will be out on the track. But right now, your starting lineup for race 11.
Tri-state racers well represented in this one. Iowa, Wisconsin, and Minnesota on the line. Reese Oldendike from Cresco, Iowa on the 5. Tucker Kemp from Bloomer, Wisconsin riding the 12.
The 122 of Shane Halverson out of Orr, Minnesota, alongside Neenah, Wisconsin's Connor Schultz in the 129.
As they rip away from the starting line, the rest of the field includes Nova Witham from St. Paul on the 302. Brian Witham from St. Paul on the 580, Monty Pappenfuss from Mazeppa on the 639, and Justin Middlestad from Racine, Minnesota with the 719. Side-by-side battle for the lead around the kink and down the Black Diamond drop towards the West End High Banks.
Middlestad had the early race lead, but I see the 580 of Witham was quickly able to overtake that, gain over that top spot. But our top 3 battling all within close quarters. Rest of the field, all single file below, but not quite many gaps between them.
On the south straightaway now as they come out of the squeeze around the kink, back down to the Black Diamond kink. It's Justin Middlestad on the 719, your race leader. Top 3 relatively tight as they make that climb back up onto the start-finish line straightaway.
Another lap in the books for Middlestat and
Yikes!
We've got one racer going way wide. I believe that may have been the 580 of Witham that went wide.
Almost got into the fencing there on the outside of turn number 1. I could tell on the front straightaway that he was running extremely wide, and then has made a charge down the south straightaway.
That battle for the lead is heating up. Middlestad has it. His competitor right behind in second wants it. Second place racer goes down to the inside as the white flag flies. Believe it is a side-by-side battle on the north end of the track.
719 machine of Middlestad, your race leader, but he's got a handful on the inside as the challenger, the 129 of Connor Schultz, sneaks underneath him on the West End High Banks and will steal the win in the Ditchbanger 1990 to 09 first heat. So what a charge by Connor Schultz on the 129. Schultz racing with support from Factory Row, Kemp Motorsports, RNS Motorsports, amongst others. Neenah, Wisconsin's Connor Schultz steals the win on the last lap of the Ditchbanger 1990 to 09 first heat. Now we get ready for heat number 2 in this Ditchbanger 90 to 09 class. Starting lineup includes 7 racers.
We have the 7 of Jory Cordes racing out of Zimmerman, Minnesota, alongside Zimmerman's Hunter Wagner on the 12.
On the 66, we'll have Hastings, Minnesota's Nick Dubish, with the 74 being piloted by the Dawson Tron out of Mondovi, Wisconsin. Joshua Berg from Mondovi on the 84. Nathan Crawford from Plymouth, Minnesota with the 104. And Mike Pappenfuss out of Mazeppa on the 439.
Side-by-side battle for the lead, but early race leader is going to be the 439 of Pappenfuss. Holding on strong. We have the 84 of Berg in your top three as well, battling for that second place spot. But out front, it is all Pappenfuss.
Side-by-side shootout for second and third, single file for fourth and fifth. Your top five relatively tight in the second heat. However, your race leader trying to pull away as Mike Pappenfuss showing his strength, flexing his muscles on lap number 2. Yikes, racers getting very wide there in turn number 2. That's the send it squeeze where the track really tightens up from about a 40-foot width on the front straightaway down to maybe 20 feet in that second turn.
Yes, that's definitely going to be a corner to watch, as that is for sure one of the most technical areas of this track. It may just be an oval, but we have split lanes out there. This squeeze section, the send it squeeze, definitely going to be an area to watch. You know, going from 70 feet of track all the way down to 20, narrows it down quite a bit, but out front, Mike Pappenfuss on the 439 holding on to this track, showing them how it's done as he pulls away from that battle for second on back, with the white flag flying. One more lap to go.
Final time on the Steeplechase Ski Resort snowmobile track as part of the X-Racing Sunday Funday program. This is heat number 2, Ditchbanger, 90 to 09 class, and the 439 of Mike Pappenfuss enjoying the lead, and I believe he's going to be able to make his way to the checkered flag unchallenged, as second place not going to be able to reel him in. Checkered is in the air. Pappenfuss with the win.
Rest of the field in tow behind. As we move on to race number 13, our junior 10 to 13 and junior 14 to 17 class. Following that, race 14 will be 600 open 18 plus modern and 800 850cc 8 open 18 plus. Race 15, Ditchbanger triples and Ditchbanger 2003 to 16 will follow.
Starting lineup in the junior 10 to 13-year-old class, we have Alex Lang out of Ringgold, Wisconsin, riding the 16 machine, and Lyric Knighton from Trago, Wisconsin, riding the 59.
And all alone in the junior 14 to 17 class with a handful of sponsors: Olson Plumbing and Heating of Montevideo, Parr Piping, Olson Custom Farms, Mid-States Millwrights, Fast Threads, BuyRaceShirts.com, Core Pros, 521 of Julia Olson. We're going to get the green flag with 2 of our 3 competitors making the starting lineup. Out front all alone, believe that is the 521 of Julia Olson with the whole shot, leading the pack, the 2-racer pack, into 1 and 2.
Olson with the purple Polaris, your race leader by almost half the straightaway length of the Steeplechase Ski Resort racetrack surface. And second place racer just now heading into the West End High Banks. Here he comes out of what might be considered turn number 4. That's the 59 of Lyric Knighton, I believe. No, I apologize. The 16, Alex Lang, holding on to the number 2 spot.
Solid gap in between our top 2 racers as Lang puts another lap in the books, makes his way onto the back straightaway. A full straightaway ahead, though, your current race leader, the 521 of Julia Olson, holding on strong to that lead. Now, an interesting one for this class. Obviously, as racers, we're always going to be battling for the lead on the track. But right now, both of these racers racing 2 separate classes are leading their respective classes. 521 of Olson leading overall, as well as in the junior 14 to 17 class. The 16 of Lang currently taking the lead in that junior 10 to 13 class.
And I wish we could explain to you the beauty of Steeplechase Ski Resort. This race surface built up at the top, obviously, of the ski resort, and just behind that north straightaway, which we're calling the back straightaway from our camera point of view here, the beautiful bluffs just fall away for a nice dramatic drop when the folks put on the skis and come out here to do some skiing. But tonight, it's sled action. White flag is out. Final trip out of the West End High Banks for Julia Olson on the 521.
One final time onto the front straightaway.
Wow.
Though, checkered flag gonna fly for the 521 of Olson, taking the heat race win today in the 14 to 17 class. It'll end up being the 16 of Lang taking the heat race win and second place overall in that junior 10 to 13 class. That was race number 13 of 19. Up next will be race 14. We have two different classes heading out here today. The 800cc to 850cc Open 18 Plus class has a lone competitor, the 916 of Logan Spletzer out of Henderson, Minnesota.
In the 600 Open 18 Plus Modern class, the number one is Granger D. Cook out of Rochester, with Zumbro Falls, Minnesota's Dylan Dorn on the number 5.
We have the 068 of Peyton Smith racing out of Montevideo, Minnesota, and alongside Lake City, Minnesota's Aiden Leonard racing the 109.
Braden Nelson from Hawley, Minnesota will be atop the 168. Mitchell Fruth from St. Stephen's, Minnesota on the 393. And Jaeger Cordes out of Duluth will be atop the 731. 8 racers, 2 divisions, 600 Open 18 Plus Modern and 800 to 850cc Open 18 Plus. We are getting ready to drop the green flag and send them away from the start line, which is just outside the exit. The Steeplechase start gate just outside the exit of the West End High Banks turn. And they're away. Here come our competitors in race number 14.
Nice little drag race cam we have there on the front straightaway, showing those racers power by. As we go into that first turn, though, side-by-side battle for the lead. And out front, it's the 068 of Peyton Smith with the early race lead, early advantage, but Peyton's got company behind them. We have the 5 of Dorn currently sitting in second, moved up, I believe, right behind them. Another competitor following close behind, trying to put some pressure on Dorn. All racers going down to the inside, but it is Smith out front leading the charge. The 5 of Dorn currently sitting in second.
It was a nice crossover maneuver by the 068 of Peyton Smith, coming from the outside to the inside in that tight turn 2 send it squeeze. And then as they exited the West End High Banks, a little contact as the 5 of Dylan Dorn wanted to try to get that lead back.
Battle still raging on, our top 5 all in close quarters, as we might be seeing a battle for the top spot developing. Smith has it, Dorn wants it, both racers going to the inside, Dorn going to the extreme inside, trying to take over that low line, but Smith still got it on the front straightaway.
Just behind the race leaders, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, single file action as they work their way down and across the finish line. Down into the squeeze they go. White flag is out. One more lap to go.
Smith holding on strong to that lead. Pulling away from Dorn slightly, but Dorn's been doing pretty solid in this left-hand bull corner. Both racers onto the front straightaway. Checkered flag flies, and it's the 068 of Peyton Smith who's going to take the heat race win. The 5 of Dylan Dorn going to settle for a solid second-place finish in this packed race number 14, 600 Open 18 Plus Modern and 800cc to 850cc Open 18 Plus. That was race 14. Up next, race number 15, Ditchbanger Triples and Ditchbanger 2003 to 16. After that, race 16 plus 30 Snowcross, race 17 WSA X 440 improved 90 to 03. And race 18, Ditchbanger Twins should all be in staging as the green flag flies for race number 15. 2 of our scheduled 3 competitors making it out onto the track. We have the 321 of David Olson and the 398 of Darren Borgshots in the Ditchbanger Triples class. The 828 of Jake Wybush in the Ditchbanger 2003 to 16 class as our top 2 competitors battling side by side for that top spot. The 828 of Wybush sitting in second. Looks like we do have all 3 competitors out there on the field right now. Wybush goes down to the inside, trying to make a move for the lead there. They're both getting into the rough stuff over on the outside of the send it squeeze left-hand corner. Turn number 2, Wybush tucks it down to the inside. Battle for the lead. Wybush now up to the lead. The 398 of Borgshots moves back to second. Wybush, the lone competitor in the Ditchbanger 03 to 16 class. The 398 of Borgshots currently leading the Ditchbanger Triples class, sitting in second overall as he's going to battle back for the overall lead on the back straightaway as they move into the West End High Banks left-hand corner and onto the front straightaway. Wybush trying to put a little bit of a gap as the white flag flies. One more lap to go.
Steeplechase Ski Resort sled track as part of Sunday Funday with X Racing Fun. There you can see our race leader making it around the slight right-hand kink, headed towards the west end high banks after working down the Black Diamond drop.
Behind there, where they're supposed to be.
Nose to tail to the line. The race will go to
The 828 the 390 or 828 of Wybush gonna hold on strong. 398 of Darren Borgschatz gonna take second overall, taking the win in the Ditchbanger triples class. 321 of David Olson going to round out your top three for race number 15. Up next, race number 16, plus 30 Snowcross. We have 5 competitors today. We have the 5 of Dylan Dorn out of Zumbro Falls, Minnesota, and Mazeppa, Minnesota's Justin Steck on the 18.
Brian Rolls from Lake City, Minnesota will be atop the 109. We've got a second 109, the 109K of Scott Kennedy from Zumbro Falls.
And rounding out the 5 sled field, it's the 395 of Corey Heineme out of Prior Lake, Minnesota. As the green flag flies, looks like 4 of our scheduled 5 competitors making the starting gate here out front. I believe that's Heineme leading the charge, pulling away from the rest of the field.
Dylan Dorn holding on to the number 2 spot as they made their way down into turn number 1. You could see on the start some great camera angle work there as the racers are anticipating a waving green flag from down to up. Once that green flag is raised, away they go. Your race leader, I believe, Justin Steck on the 18 machine, trying to stretch the separation back to the 5 of Dylan Dorn.
Battle for third and fourth raging on between the 395 of Heineme holding on to that third place spot. A whole roost of snow going into that 4th place rider just behind as Heineme slowly but surely starting to reel in the 5 of Dylan Dorn.
So your top 3 at this point in time, Justin Steck on the 18 machine out front and pulling away from the 5 of Dylan Dorn. Dorn now coming under attack from the 395 of Corey Heineme. Heineme trying to close the gap there in the send it squeeze, turn number 2 of this oval.
Dorn able to pull out of the squeeze nice and quick, set a little bit of distance in between him and Heineme. White flag flies, and we've got a nice gap for our leader, the 18 of Justin Steck, holding off that 3-racer battle for second, third, and fourth.
Carrying a nice amount of speed across the finish line there at the south end top of the racing surface. Now down to the north end straightaway, the lower straightaway. Is your race leader coming out of the west end high banks, making that climb to the start-finish line, and the win will go to the 18 of Justin Steck, Mazeppa, Minnesota's local racer. Holds on for the win. Dylan Dorn holds on for second, but a great race charge from Corey Heineme on the 395. He didn't quite get to second, but he put together a strong run and was able to close the gap.
That was plus 30 Snowcross. Final 3 heats of the night about to make their way out. Race 17, WSAX 440 and 600 improved. Race 18 will be Ditchbanger Twins. Our final heat race of the night will be race 19, WSAX Open 90 to 03 Trail and Open 2003 to 16 A-Arm. Green flag flies for race 17, though. The 129 of Connor Schultz out of Neenah, Wisconsin. Winona, Minnesota's Corey Tomish in the 370 for the 440 class.
Jake Wybush from Lake City, Minnesota, racing in the WSA X600 improved 1990 to 203 class on the 828. We had them 3 wide as they crossed the start-finish line on the opening lap. Now that Ski-Doo trying to hold on to the top spot and pull away from the field. I believe that is the 129. Is it? Correct me if I'm wrong. The 129 of Connor Schultz, your early race leader.
Schultz holding on strong to that lead, but he's got some pressure right behind him. Our second place competitor trying to hold on. Schultz able to put a little bit of a gap there as we move through the back straightaway down the Black Diamond drop. But our second place competitor is hot on his tails, just about 4 or 5 sled lengths behind. I believe it's the 828 of Jake Wybush, our top 2 racers in 2 different classes, as Schultz goes a little high there through turns 1 and 2 over on the east end of the track, but he's able to hold on strong to that lead. Wybush not quite able to reel him in just yet.
He rode that sled hot into turn number 1, and the momentum carried him all the way to the outside of that turn, but Wybush was not able to capitalize on that opportunity. This time, Wybush keeping it to the, I'd say the mid-groove there in turns 1 and 2, but the 129 of Schultz continues to run a wide lane in the first 2 turns.
Schultz, Wybush, Tomish, 1, 2, 3 as your lineup stands. Checkered flag is going to fly, though, onto the front straightaway, and your heat race winner is going to be the 129 of Connor Schultz, taking the heat race win for Factory Row, Kemp Motorsports, R&S Motorsports, CR29 Motorsports, and Cross Track Equipment. The 828 of Jake Wybush going to finish second overall, taking the heat race win in the WSAX 600 Improved class.
Race number 18 of 19 will be our Ditchbanger Twins. Race number 19 will be WSAX Open 90-03 Trail and WSAX Open 03-16 A-Arm. But in the Ditchbanger Twins class, we will find Jory Cordes from Zimmerman, Minnesota on the 7. Peyton Smith from Montevideo on the 068. Dawson Traun from Mondovi riding the 74.
114 of Landon Olivio from Blooming Prairie, Minnesota. Montevideo, Minnesota's David Olson on the 321. 370 of Corey Tomish out of Winona, Minnesota. And St. Paul, Minnesota's Brian Witham on the 580.
Witham is your early race leader as we almost took him 3 wide into that first turn after zipping down the upper front straightaway. Now heavy competition for 3rd and 4th as Peyton Smith on the 068 holding on to the number 2 spot in the running order behind that 580 of Brian Witham. Challenge for the lead at the east end of the track. They are side by side coming out of the squeeze.
Smith putting the pressure on strong. We already saw him with a heat race win earlier on today. Witham also with a heat race win, so we've got 2 heat race winners out there battling for the top spot, seeing who might be able to get the heat race win in the Ditchbanger Twins class.
Rider down at the bottom of the West End High Banks. He caught the inside berm there, got tossed off the right side of that sled, back up under his own power, back onto the sled. The instant replay for those of you watching the live stream, watch to the bottom of the High Bank West End turn there. Front end clips that inside wall, and up and over goes that sled.
Sled bouncing so hard the hood popped open momentarily. But glad to see him back up on his feet, running out front, though. We had a change for the lead. Smith now up to the top spot. Witham back to second, battling back as the white flag flies. We've got a half a lap left to decide who's going to be the heat race winner. Smith has it. Witham wants it back.
You can see they jump into the West End High Banks. That really lightens up the rear end of the sled. Checkered flag will fly. Peyton Smith out of Montevideo, Minnesota will get the W on the 068 with Brian Witham from St. Paul, Minnesota across the line in second. I was talking about the interesting way these sleds, are getting into the turns. We've seen it a lot on the entry to the West End High Banks where they just come off a bit of a roller jump there that really lightens up the rear of the sled, and they almost back that sled into the turn. We have seen it a few times down at the end of the front straightaway into turn number 1. Here's our final heat race of the chilly Saturday night portion of round 1 of Sunday Funday X Racing action.
In the WSAX Open 90-03 class, we have the 1 of Tucker Kempe out of Bloomer, Wisconsin. Neenah, Wisconsin's 129 of Connor Schultz. 290 of Colin Schultz out of Fremont, Wisconsin. And Jager Cordes racing the 731 from Duluth, Minnesota.
Mitchell Fruth from St. Stephen, Minnesota is racing in the 03-16 A-Arm class on the 393. Here comes a boatload of steam and speed as they work their way down the straightaway, front straightaway, into turn number 1, 4 wide at the east end of the Steeplechase Ski Resort Snocross track.
It's the 731 of Jager Cordes out front early, the 393 of Fruth holding on strong to second, but he moves back to third as he's got company. They try swipping and swapping, moving all sorts of back and forth.
They were side by side in a 2-rider battle for second and third, almost 3 wide as the 4th place sled got into the action. There they are again, 3 wide at the east end, out at the bottom of the fall away field, heading into turn number 2, the Sended Squeeze. They're back to 3 wide as they head down the Black Diamond, dropping into the West End High Banks. Who's going to hold on to second? Who's got third? Who's got 4th? Your race leader continues to be Jager Cordes on the 731.
Fruth holding on to second, but only by a hair. He's got the 129 of Schultz in there trying to mix and move, make his way up to that second place spot.
Top four trying to pull away from the rest of the field. Your race leader is out front all alone. However, second place sled is closing the gap as third place rider pushes way up the banking at the top of the West End High Banks and is going to give up that third place spot. Now they're side by side for third and fourth.
Cordis out front, all alone in the lead in the WSAX Open 90-03 class. Fruth right behind in second overall, currently leading that 03-16 class.
Looks like we may have had one rider get off track. They are going to battle their way back to the line here. We will see if we're going to stay under green flag conditions. Checkered flag is out. That's actually going to wrap this one up. So it'll be Jaeger Cordis on the 731 getting the W in the WSAX Open 90-03 trail class.
And just like that, our heat races have officially come to a close for an exciting start of the 2025-2026 season here for the Sunday Funday races at Steeplechase.
My goodness, we ripped our way through those heat races, and next action on the track will be our first of two main events. That's right, two main events on the schedule for Sunday Funday. Each racer gets a heat race in their class. Then there are technically two mains for each class. Main number one, we run through the entire schedule, and then we run through the entire schedule again with main number two. So it gives all these racers a great time and a great chance to have some fun, which is what Sunday Funday is all about, and maybe race for a plaque and an award.
Exactly. We are officially a third of the way through our program tonight. We're going to take a brief intermission, but before we do that, we just want to give a shout out to a few more of our sponsors who are allowing us to bring some Sunday Funday racing action to the slopes of Steeplechase Ski Resort here in Mazeppa, Minnesota. Wouldn't be able to come out here if it weren't for the likes of Grandpa Bob's Real Log Cabins, MBTV Sports, Bikeman Performance, Caliber, Speedworks, USI.
Also Bodywise Chiropractic, Waldock Customs, Power Lodge, Chopper Power Sports, Omara Motorsports, Staging Pro,
Professional Mechanical Services, Fly Racing, Thomas Snow Sports, Rock Speed Effects, Rugged Radios, Playstead Companies Incorporated.
Also Olson Power and Equipment, Custudio Home Group, Quality Freight Rate, and Olson Plumbing and Heating Incorporated. Some of the additional sponsors who help to bring green flag action to round number one of X Racing's Sunday Funday action at Steeplechase Ski Resort.
As we go into our brief intermission here, we'll be back with our first round of main events here momentarily. But in the meantime, we'll send it over to a word from our sponsors.
AMRAMP Accessibility, our goal is to help people, and that means providing them with the best quality product and service possible. Built with powder-coated steel, our ramps are stronger and longer lasting than those built with wood or aluminum. Installed in a matter of days to ensure your safety as quickly as possible, our teams are here for you.
I can get out.
Yeah, much easier. Better, a lot better. Yes, thank you.
I don't even have the words to explain how much easier it is. We're just so thankful for it, so thank you. Thank you very much.
Find your forward with AMRAMP Accessibility today. Learn more at amramp.com.
Every great journey begins with a trusted guide. And when it comes to finding your perfect home, there's no one better than Kathy Vetter. With over 10 years of experience and a passion for real estate, Kathy Vetter helps you find the perfect home, a peaceful country retreat, a cozy single-family house, or your very first step toward a lifetime home. She also specializes in commercial real estate, guiding you through every step of the way. From the heart of the metro to the scenic countryside, Kathy Vetter knows the Minnesota market inside and out, committed to finding the perfect fit for you, no matter where you are. Buying your first home can feel overwhelming, but with Vetter by your side, it's a smooth and exciting journey. She makes first-time buyers feel confident, supported, and understood, every single step of the way. From your first showing to handing over the keys, Kathy Vetter works tirelessly to ensure you get the home you've always wanted. Kathy Vetter, your trusted real estate expert across Minnesota. From vibrant metro living to serene countryside escapes to agricultural and commercial spaces. Let her help you unlock the door to your next chapter.
painful steps shouldn't be part of your daily routine. At Foot and Ankle Clinics, PA, we specialize in diagnosing and treating a wide range of foot and ankle conditions, from heel pain and bunions to diabetic foot care and sports injuries. Our board-certified podiatrists, Dr. Jeff Pellercells and Dr. Russell John Hill, bring decades of experience and a compassionate approach to every patient. At our clinic, we are dedicated to serving the community with the highest level of care. Your well-being is our top priority. Serving the communities of Woodbury, West St. Paul, and Edina, we're committed to providing personalized care tailored to your needs. Don't let foot or ankle pain hold you back. Visit footandankleclinics.com to schedule your appointment today.
Freight is the backbone of the country, and as long as people need goods, they're going to need somebody to get it to them. My name is Matt Bohl with QualityFreightRate.com, powered by T-Force Worldwide. We provide LTL, truckload, and expedited freight services across this country. If your freight weighs over 120 pounds going over 120 miles, that's where my shipping rates kick in. We help companies ship easier for less. With our system, our customers are able to quote and book shipments with ease 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you're having trouble with damages, lost freight, claims of any sort, we can help you with our experience, solve the problem, tell you why it's happening and what you should do to prevent it in the future. Me and my team have been together for over 20 years. We know this industry. We can help all size business, big or small. We love them all, but we have a special spot for small business. Small businesses are pillars in the community. Low rates are critical for a small business because the margins are generally pretty small. They need to have competitive rates. They can't be getting gouged or they lose the sale. Freight is simple. People make it difficult. We work as consultants in the industry, so it doesn't matter what your problem is, we'll solve it. We educate the customers, we solve problems, and we lower their shipping rates. And that's what I've been doing for 20 plus years.
When you push your engine to the limit, on the track, the farm, or the highway, only one name delivers unmatched protection. Schaefer's specialized lubricants. With over 180 years of proven performance, professionals don't guess. They trust Schaefer's. And in our region, there's one guy who makes it happen. William Denzer. Racers, farmers, fleets. They all call William because he's reliable, knowledgeable, and gets results. So support the brands and people who support racing. Call William today, 651-253-0999, or email denzer.schaefer.sales@gmail.com. Schaefer's, trusted since 1839. Power in every drop.
My two passions in life is racing and selling good high-end meat. So my grandfather came here from Germany back in the late 20s. He decided to open his own shop in 1951. He had all the recipes, he had all the talent. His father was a meat guy. His father's father was a butcher. They weren't football players, basketball players. They were in the meat business. And that's our family. That's what we're good at. Old World Meats was derived from Frank's Meats. That was my grandfather's name. I know the quality of my beef is the best because I've purchased it directly from the ranchers at Certified Angus Beef. We know what our beef is continuously, and it's very consistent. So we're located up here in Duluth on beautiful Lake Superior, just a stone throw off of Highway 61. I've lived here my whole life, and it's where I wanted to raise my family. To be successful, you need to have a talent. And I knew I was going to be in the meat business. I can taste spices, I can pick out flavors, where they need to come in, where they need to stop. So knowing your strengths are important and knowing where you came from. We have a hot snack stick that's got actually 8 different spices of heat in that, and it layers the flavors in the heat. That's what makes the difference with our product. The most exciting part was becoming coast to coast with the Old World Meats snack sticks. My neighbor stopped me on the street and said, "Paul, I was just down in Georgia and this gas station had your product." It was one of the highlights of the year. I don't know of a state at this point that we haven't had product in. Being in business in a small town really puts things into perspective. It's the little things for me to be appreciated and respected. So this whole operation here, it doesn't have to be the biggest, but it needs to have passion. And today, I'm changing lives of people that work with me. My guys are learning lifelong skills and values. That's the good stuff. Let's make the world a better place. Let's have a good time at it.
Ready to make a splash this summer? Grab your friends and head to River's Edge on the scenic Apple River. Whether you're looking to float the day away, camp under the stars, or catch live music and weekend events, River's Edge has everything you need for an unforgettable time. Book your tube, campsite, or party package now. River's Edge on the Apple River. Your summer starts here.
Yeah, Butler-Built has been a supporter of mine for a long time. I've always run Butler-Built seats ever I got into 410 sprint car racing, and I feel like they have the nicest aluminum seats out there. The craftsmanship, the welding on it is top notch, and now they're pouring my inserts and have the gravel cut seat and gives you a lot of clearance for your hybrid or your Hans, and I feel like, there's no better seat out there. Yeah, I mean, a little bit of feedback, right? These guys do it every day. So as me as a sprint car driver specifically, every form of dirt racing, the seats are built different. And guys like us, drivers are wearing holes in their hybrids because they're rubbing on the seats. And I felt like there was a need for a little bit of a new design and a new generation of the sprint car advantage seat. So yeah, it's been a fun ride and hope to continue the relationship for a long time.
Kevco has been an industry leader in high-performance oil pans and components for over 35 years. Made in Fairmont, Minnesota, Kevco prides itself on being American-made. Kevco has expanded our product line way beyond just oil pans to valve covers, breather systems, jack stands, boilers, wheel sockets, and much, much more. Check out KevcoRacing.com to see everything we have to offer, including our line of street, off-road, and performance oil pans and accessories. Or call 800-770-3557 to talk with our friendly customer service today.
When you've got to ship it from anywhere to anywhere,
QualityFreightRate.com.
The LTL Freight Logistics Specialist for your small business.
QualityFreightRate.com.
We simplify shipping, eliminate those surprise charges, and negotiate the best rates from most LTL qualified carriers.
QualityFreightRate.com.
Special residential and liftgate rates available for automotive and ag implements.
QualityFreightRate.com.
Use the promo code ICE and get 10% off your first shipment. Startup is so easy. Get a quote and ship today. QualityFreightRate.com.
Pit area. We are under a short break, just a short break here. We will remind you that when we resume, we will be looking for our 200 stock 9 to 12-year-olds. That'll be our first race on the big track. Again, a late breaking note that the first round of races that we just completed was main number 1 of the night. This next round of races will be main number 2. We know that Joe said in the riders meeting that we would go heat race, then main, then main. It's a pretty frigid night here. The wind is whipping, so that first run through our races will be the first main of the night. We're going to drop the heats, and this next run through will be our second run through of mains.
We are still in the midst of our intermission. Have about another 10-15 minutes or so before we get back to some racing action. But we will keep you all updated as we get nearer and nearer to that first green flag of round number 2 of our main events for the night. Attention in the pit area. Attention in the pit area. 10-minute notice to our second round of feature races for the evening. This is the 10-minute warning. So racers in those first 3 races of the second half, 200 stock 9 to 12, junior ditchbanger 10 to 13, and Pro 206, Super 225 kids and junior girls under 200cc. Once again, this is the 10-minute warning to green flag racing for the second half. Mic check, 1, 2. Attention in the pit area. Attention in the pit area. 5-minute warning to starting things off for our second round of feature racing here at Steeplechase for round number 1 of the 2025-2026 Sunday Funday season. So once again, 5-minute warning. Racers in the first 3 races, 200 stock 9 to 12. Race number 3, Junior Ditchbanger 10 to 13. And race number 4, Pro 206 Super 225 kids and junior girls under 200 cc should all be making your way up to staging. Should be there soon. As once again, 5-minute warning to first green flag. pit area. 12, Junior Ditchbanger 10 to 13, and Pro 206 Super 225 kids, junior girls under 200cc. You should be in the staging area now. If you are not, we are about to go green flag racing any moment now. So once again, please make your way up to the staging area if you have not done so already. Attention in the pit area. Final call to staging our first race for round number 2 of the night. 200 stock 9 to 12 is making their way out onto the track right now. So racers in the junior Ditchbanger 10 to 13 class, Pro 206, Super 225 kids, and junior girls should all be in the staging area as we are about to go green flag racing for our first race of the second round of finals. Welcome back, racers and race fans, to round number 1 of the 2025-2026 Sunday Funday Racing Series here at Steeplechase Ski Resort in Mazeppa, Minnesota. My name is Zach Bailey. I'm here with Dan Bailey as part of MBTV Sports, bringing you some live coverage of the first round of races for the 2025-2026 season.
We are at the beautiful Steeplechase Ski Resort in Mazeppa, Minnesota, and we are getting ready for our second main event run through the field. Our first main of this second round will be 200 stock 9 to 12-year-olds, including opening main event winner Alex Lang from Ringgold, Wisconsin on the Snap-on Tools number 16. Joining Alex on the line, Liam Peterson from Lino Lakes, Minnesota with a 23, and Logan Reeves from North Branch, Minnesota on the 257.
Isla Board Shots racing the 398 out of Big Lake, Minnesota. New Ulm, Minnesota's Jace Wurzberger piloting the 612 machine. The 708 of J.C. Carlson out of Litchfield, Minnesota.
Henrik Storley out of Elko, Newmarket, Minnesota will be atop the 910 with Tyler Custodio from Prior Lake, Minnesota on the 989. In the first run through the main events, Alex Lang was our main winner, followed across the line by Henrik Storley on the 910 in second and Tyler Custodio on the 989 in third. You can see we have six of our expected 8 racers on the line. The green flag is up and away they goes. 200 stock 9 to 12-year-old racers on the Steeplechase Ski Resort Snocross track.
Nice drag race down the front straightaway as our top 2 racers side by side. Top 5 all in close quarters, though. Out front and pulling away from the rest of the field. One of our racers is reigning supreme. Right behind him, a battle for second and third. It's the 16 of Lang out front, the 910 of Storley putting on chase in second, trying to make a move. Alongside them, the 989 of Custodio is rounding out your top 3 as our top 3 racers from the first round of finals are currently sitting in the top 3 for this second round.
Both Storley and Custodio trying an outside run around the West End High Banks, which would be turns 3 and 4 of this slightly oval-shaped snowcross track at the top of the Steeplechase Ski Resort. But your leader continues to be Alex Lang on the 16 machine.
The 910 of Storley looking to the outside of Lang, seeing if there might be any place to make a move there. He's going to duck down to the inside, follow behind the 16 of Lang through turns 3 and 4 as they make their way out onto the front straightaway once again. Out front, it is still the 16 of Lang holding on strong. Storley sitting in second, seeing if he might be able to make a move there through turns 1 and 2 as we get onto the Send It Squeeze, turn number 2 on the back straightaway. Our top 2 competitors have pulled away from the rest of the field. A little bit of space before we get back to the 989 of Custodio and the 257 of Logan Reeves.
Battle Royale at the front of the field as they go side by side into the West End High Banks, but the 16 machine of Lang is going to be able to pull away, reestablish his hold on the top spot. White flag is out, but here comes Storley to remount another challenge for the lead.
Storley on the outside. He's trying that outside line because the 16 of Lang is holding on strong to that inside. Storley doing just about everything possible to take over this battle for the lead. He has half a lap left to do it, and their skis are just about touching on the back straightaway.
They head down the Black Diamond drop, headed towards the West End High Banks turn. It's your race leader Lang on the inside. Storley right behind him. Final time up the climb, headed towards the finish line. Checkered flag is out. Lang just barely holding on for the win. It was by less than the length of a snow machine. It is Alex Lang on the 16, your main event winner. Henrik Storley right behind on the 910.
989 at Custodio going to finish out your top 3, with Reeves right behind in 4th.
Race number 2 on the big track will be our junior Ditchbanger 10 to 13-year-olds. This is race 3 on the printout. Also in staging, race number 4, Pro 206, Super 225 kids, and junior girls under 200cc. Here's your starting lineup for our junior Ditchbanger 10 to 13-year-olds.
Heat race winner was the 72 of Brettley Crustmark out of Pine Island, Minnesota. Finishing second was the 499 of Harrison Hurst, racing the Southland Auto Diesel Bluff Brothers Brewing Spring Valley, Minnesota machine.
Also in the lineup, Harrison Resnick from Elk River, Minnesota with a 00 machine, and Axel Flatham from Northwoods, Iowa with a 55. Green flag is in the air. Our 4 racers are away. They're down the main straightaway at the top of Steeplechase Ski Resort.
Single file throughout the field on that front straightaway, but we got a nice little battle going for second, third, and fourth as we've got some 3-wide racing action through the Send It Squeeze and as we make our way over to the Black Diamond Drop on the back straightaway.
So there's a bit of an uphill climb out of the Send It Squeeze where the racers come back uphill to that slight right-hand turn before they head back down into the bottoms from the Black Diamond Drop into the West End High Banks turn. They're back at our finish line and headed towards turn number 1. Your race leader trying to pull away.
Nice little gap developed between our leader and that battle for second, third, and fourth. Looks like it might be slowly but surely turning into a battle for second and third as our fourth place competitor has dropped back ever so slightly, but they are starting to reel their way up on the leader there as the leader puts another lap in the books. Second, third, right behind. Another lap in the books as our competitors make their way over onto the turns 1 and 2. White flag is out. One more lap to go in the junior Ditchbanger 10 to 13 class.
Right-hand turn, back down to the Black Diamond Drop and headed towards the high-banked West End turn. Your race leader still enjoys about a 3 sled length lead, maybe a bit more. It grows as they come up the climb to the finish line. Checkered flag is in the air. Our junior Ditchbanger 10 to 13-year-old second main will go into the books.
That was race number 3. Up next, race number 4, Pro 206 Super 225 Kids, Junior Girls under 200 cc. Following them will be race number 5, Kids Ditchbanger 8 to 12. And race 6, 200 Open and 200 Stock 4 to 8. For your starting lineup for race number 4. In the first of 3 classes, Pro 206, we have the 25B of Bowden Nelson racing out of Foley, Minnesota, side by side with Parker Reeves piloting the 257 from North Branch.
In the Super 225 Kids class, Hayes Carlson on the 409 as the green flag has flown. You can see them zipping down the main straightaway headed towards turn number 1. Also in the lineup, Jace Wurzberger from New Ulm, Minnesota on the 612 and JC Carlson from Litchfield with a 708. Remember, JC was the rider who had that get-off earlier tonight in the first run-through of the mains.
Wurzberger, your early race leader, taking the whole shot through 1 and 2 as they make their way down the Black Diamond Drop up into the West End High Banks. Onto the front straightaway, Wurzberger going to put a first official lap in the books. Competition right behind, though, in second, trying to reel in that leader.
So your top 2 headed into turn number 1. They make their way down the fall-away field towards the Send It Squeeze, which would be turn number 2 on this slightly bean-shaped oval around the right-hand turn and headed towards the west end of the track, which is the West End High Banks portion. Looks like that separation from first to second is growing.
Another lap in the books for Wurzberger. In the Super 225 Kids class. Making his way up through the West End High Banks, down the climb, onto the front straightaway. Wurzberger putting another lap in the books here. Checkered flag flies for the 612 of Jace Wurzberger. Taking 2 for 2 home tonight. He won the first final earlier on today, wins the second final now.
In staging will be our kids' Ditchbanger 8 to 12-year-old class for race number 5. Race number 6, 200 open and 200 stock 4 to 8-year-olds will also be in staging. Here are your riders in race number 5, racers in race number 5 in the kids' Ditchbanger 8 to 12-year-old class. Amelia Tesmer from Millville riding the 33. Logan Reeves from North Branch on the 257, and Hovey Heinemey from Prior Lake with the 395. Starter out in front of the field as we will clear the track. Looks like we have all 3 expected starters in the Steeplechase start gate. Ready? Green flag is up and our trio is away. Kids Ditchbanger 8 to 12-year-old class is underway. And immediately our race leader tries to pull away from second and third. Carries a 4 sled length lead into the 2 left-hand turns at the east end of the track.
Single file throughout the field, making their way in through the west end high banks onto the front straightaway. First official lap in the books.
Race leader down into turn number 1, all alone, uncontested at the front of the field. Second holding onto that spot as well. They're on the north straightaway, which is the back straightaway from the camera angle that you're seeing, those of you watching the live streaming coverage on MBTVsports.com. To the north is the back straightaway. To the south is behind the camera angle. And to the east is turns 1 and 2. To the west is turns 3 and 4 and the starting area. So again, we're enjoying kids Ditchbanger 8 to 12-year-old action. This is race number 5 in round 1 of X Racing Sunday Funday action at Steeplechase Ski Resort in Mazeppa, Minnesota.
Back onto the front straightaway, another lap in the books for your racers. In race number 5, kids Ditchbanger 8 to 12, race 5 of 19. We finished our first round of finals earlier on today before the intermission. We are into our second round of finals for the night for round number 1 of the 2025-2026 season here at Steeplechase Ski Resort in Mazeppa, Minnesota. Earlier today it was announced that we will be adding 2 more races for rounds 3 and 4, January 3rd and 4th. Have been added to the schedule officially. Rounds 3 and 4, we will be back here again January 17th, 18th for rounds 5 and 6. And we will conclude things for now on February 21st, 22nd. We are ever changing the schedule here, seeing if we might be able to add some additional dates here and there. But as it currently stands, those 8 dates will be the days we will be racing here for the 2025-2026 Sunday Funday Racing season.
For those of you who are competing and for those of you who are watching online via the live streaming coverage on MBTVsports.com, remember, this is only round 1. We'll be back tomorrow for round 2. As a matter of fact, right now we are getting ready for 200 open and 200 stock 4 to 8-year-old.
In the 200 open class, heat race winner was the 612 of Jace Wurzberger. We also saw the 398 of Isla Borgschatz.
4 sleds on the line, I believe. Other competitors scheduled to be in the starting lineup include Colton Kniefel from Newmarket, Minnesota on the 85, Ryland Betterly from Cook, Minnesota on the 99, Hayes Carlson from Litchfield riding the 409, and Owen Lance from Claremont, Minnesota with a 410 machine. Racers are on to the back straightaway, the north straightaway, as the Steeplechase Ski Resort falls away down into the valley to the north of the facility.
Back onto the front straightaway, crossing the start-finish line. So we make our way into fall-away field, turns 1 and 2. They're going to send it through the send-it squeeze in turn number 2. Goes from about a 75-foot width right beforehand, down to about 20 feet, squeezing all they got out of them into the Black Diamond drop on the northwest end of the track. They'll make their way through the west end High Banks Bowl corner before we come back out onto the front straightaway here on the south side of the track. Another lap officially in the books for your 200 open, 200 stock 4 to 8-year-old classes. Nice little battle raging there on the front straightaway as we make our way into turns 1 and 2. A couple of our competitors getting a little side-by-side action going on there. A quick note that we have actually lost video feeds, so we're unable to do some play-by-play calling. Those of you watching via the live stream, I believe, are still getting a good stream. You're just not going to have any audio call, as we don't want to miscall any of the action on track. Sit tight. We will continue to work on our end, see if we can work things out. Race 7 out on the track currently.
up the wind that hits. Just working it up. I'll keep it together.
Race 11 officially on the track. Ditchbanger 1990 to 09. Race 1. Race 12. Ditchbanger 90 to 09. Heat 2 should be in the staging area. They are up next. Races 13, Junior 10 to 13, Junior 14 to 17, and race 14, 600 open 18 plus.
My middle fingertip bad right now.
Heat 1 for Ditchbanger, 90 to 09 on the track right now. Heat 2 for Ditchbanger, 90 to 09, race 12 in staging. Also in staging, race number 13, Junior 10 to 13s, Junior 14 to 17. And we'd also like to get race number 14 to staging. That'll be our 600 Open 18 Plus Modern and 800 850 CC Open 18 Plus. So again, race 11 on the track now. This is Heat 1. If we could get 12, 13, and 14 to staging, that would be great. Thank you. 600 open, 18 plus modern, 800 to 850 open, 18 plus. Race 15, Ditchbanger Trickles, Ditchbanger 2016. Should all be in the staging area right now. Race 16 plus 30 Snowcross. And race 17, WSA X 440 and 600 improved, should be making your way up to staging if you have not already. Once again, race 13, junior 10 to 13, junior 14 to 17 out on the track now. Race 14, 600 open, 18 plus modern, 800 to 850 cc open, 18 plus. And race 15, Ditchbanger Triple, Ditchbanger 2003 to 16 should all be in the staging area. On the back straightaway right now, the 521 of Julia Olson making her way up onto turns 3 and 4, making her way over onto the front straightaway, where the checkered flag is flying for Julia Olson. Race 14 in the staging area, about to hit the track here any moment now. In the 800 to 850 cc open 18 plus, we have the 916 of Logan Splitzer out of Henderson, Minnesota. And in the 600 open 18 plus modern class, heat race winner was the 068 of Peyton Smith. We have the 5 of Dylan Dorn finishing second. Ranger DeCook ride the number 1 machine. Peyton Smith on the 068. Aiden Leonard with the 109. Braden Nelson on the 168. And Mitchell Fruit with the 393. Racers at the ready, about to get the go from the flagman out there. Green flag flies and we are racing. Smith with the early race start. A whole group battling it through 1 and 2. We make our way to the Black Diamond drop on the northwest side of the track. Smith out front, but he's got double company beside him. The 5 of Dorn goes to the inside. New race leader Smith back to second, but he battles back with 3 wide. Again as they head down to the squeeze. Now one racer tries to pull out ahead of the other 2. Now it's a 2-rider battle for second and third. Smith out front. Dorn back to second. Our third place rider battling to the inside. Dorn's got company. Just to the inside. Still holding on strong up, and Dorn has problems. His ski has been stalled. Dorn back in the field now, which is our second place competitor, a chance to make his way up. Now he's going to be battling the 109 of Aiden Leonard, who has been able to move up to second place after Dorn's stall. That time in the turn number 1, we saw the 068 of Smith gets very light. Back into the first turn. Now he's going to take an outside entry into turn number 1. Down the hill. Side via the north straightaway, the back stretch. Lap traffic coming up. But we have actually passed our second flag with the win. All racers throughout the evening should be in the staging right now. Race 15 about to hit the track. 16, 17, 18, 19 should all be in the staging area right now. Race 15, your starting lineup's going to look like this. All alone in the Ditchbanger 2003 to 16 class. It's the 828 of Jake Wybush out of Lake City, Minnesota. In the Ditchbanger triples class, we have the 321 of David Olson out of Montevideo, Minnesota, and the 398 of Darren Borgschatz out of Big Lake, Minnesota. Competitors going side by side into 1 and 2.
we get our way into the West Bank turn. Only about as we go into turns 1 and 2, battles are heating up. Still about 1 to 2 separate Wisebrook and Boardshot's holding on to second, seeing if he can do just about anything to take over that top spot.
Takes a look to the outside, going to see if he can cross him over, coming out of turn number 4, past the third gate. Not going to happen. Checkered flag is in the air.
Wybush going to take the overall win and the win in the Ditchbanger 2003-16 class. Boardshot's, though, taking second overall, going to win that triples class.
Race number 16 now. In the start gate, plus 30 Snocross. Dylan Dorn riding the 5. Justin Stack on the 18. Brian Rolls with a 109. Scott Kennedy on 109K. And Corey Heineby with a 395. 5 racers. Race number 16, plus 30 Snocross in the Steeplechase start gate.
Stack was your first feature race winner. Dorn finished second. Heineby rounded out your top 3. We'll see what this second feature race is able to do for these 5 competitors. 4 of the expected 5 in the start gate. Green flag. 3 wide into that turn 1 and 2. We're going to get into the squeeze. Bring them down to single file, but they're also battling close. Open up to a 2-wide battle for the top spot. The 395 of Heineby down to the inside. Dorn on the outside. Dorn back to second.
Elbow to elbow, they were into the high banks there, but we had a change.
New race leader in our plus 30 Snocross class. Dorn battles back down onto the inside. Nothing able to go there. Still going to hold on to second, which means Heineby is still your current race leader, and he's pulling away as we go through the Black Diamond drop.
Remember, Dylan Dorn had to settle for a second place finish in the first mains. Now he is holding on to that
race leader is the 395 of Corey Heineby. Heineby improving his positioning from that first main by 2 positions. He finished third in the first main. Your race leader right now
on the back straightaway in the north end of the Steeplechase Snocross track.
Heineby doing really well on that back straightaway, able to pull away from the battle now raging between second and third. And Dorn moves back to third place now. And Steck looks to the outside, trying to make a move. Dorn battles back. Stuck, cuts it down low, is able to get back up to second once again.
Crossover maneuver there by Dorn as he comes back to the inside, reclaims the number 2 position. And all of this back and forth is for peanuts because the race leader is pulling away, opening up a extended lead about half the length of the front straightaway.
Checkered flag flies for Heineby. Heineby, your race winner. And I believe it was Steck who ended up getting second. Dorn, my apologies, going to finish second. Steck going to round out your top 3 as we move into race 17. WSAX 440 and 600 in the 440 class. We have the 129 of Connor Schultz, your first feature race winner, alongside the 370. Corey Tomish out of Winona, Minnesota.
So these 3 racers battling in 2 separate classes. We've got the 440 improved 90-03 class and the 600 improved 90-03 class. Jake Wybush running in that 600 improved class all alone, but here come our 3 sleds out of the Steeplechase start gate and down the front straightaway across the line.
Tight battle up front between our top 2 racers. Third place in the mix as well. We get into the squeeze, and we're trying to make it double wide in there. Not quite going to go out front. Believe it is the 129 of Schultz holding on to that current lead, but he's got company just beside him.
Single file out of the West End High Banks. They make the climb up to the main straightaway across the line again to complete another lap. Top 2 trying to pull away just a bit from third. It is the separation of 1, maybe 2, now 3 or 4 sled links as that separation grew coming towards the right-hand turn.
Our top 2 competitors holding on to each other, showing their own as we put another lap in the books here. Separating slightly out on the front straightaway, now about a 10 sled gap. Gonna slow down a little bit there as we move into turns 1 and 2.
This is race number 17 of 18. So of 19. So we've got a couple of main events left to go after this one. Our race leader appears to be pulling away and setting up a separation that I think is gonna hold.
I believe that's the 828 of Wybush holding on to the lead there, putting a little separation between him and the 129 of Schultz. Now, both of these racers, though they are separated on the track first and second, they are currently leading their respective classes. Wybush in the 600 class, Schultz in the 440 as we get back onto the front straightaway with the checkered flag flying for our competitors in the WSAX 440 and 600 classes.
We get ready for main event number 18 now. Ditchbanger Twins, a class of 7 in the start gate. 6 of those 7 lined up, including the first main event winner, Peyton Smith on the 068. Jory Cordes is on the 7. Dawson Tron riding the 74.
114 of Landon Olivio from Blooming Prairie, Minnesota. Montevideo, Minnesota's David Olson on the 321. 370 of Corey Tomesh out of Winona, Minnesota. And finishing second in the first feature was the 580 of Brian Witham from St. Paul, Minnesota.
There comes our 7th competitor back into the line, so we will have a full field in the steeplechase start gate. Green flag is in the air. As the field pulls away, we start with them 3 wide across the line in the battle for the lead, headed towards the east end.
We're flirting for 4 wide there as we make our way through the fall away field into the squeeze. Top competitor looks like it's the 068 of Peyton Smith leading the charge on the back straightaway.
Peyton Smith ahead of a side-by-side battle for second and third with the 580 of Brian Witham. Completing that pass on the inside run at the west end high banks portion of the Snocross track.
Smith and Witham is how we finished the first feature race, and that's how we're standing for this second feature race right now. Smith with about a 5 sled length advantage over the 580 of Witham, doing pretty solid as we make our way through the Black Diamond drop and up into the west end high banks.
As the size of the sleds, the power of the engines, and the speed of the racers increase through the evening, you can see how they're pushing that exit of turn number 2 in the send it squeeze much wider, trying to use that berm to their advantage. As you saw our race leader there, Smith on the 068, do just that, running the high side on the outside of turn number 2.
Making our way through the west end high banks yet again, pulling onto the front straightaway. This is the second to last race of the evening, and they are giving it their all. Peyton Smith with a near half straightaway advantage over the 580 of Brian Witham, currently sitting in second.
You can almost see Smith realizing that he's caught the flow. He's just riding this track like he knows every bump and obstacle that's headed his direction. He's able to manhandle that sled around the Steeplechase Snowcross track, and that's allowing him to stretch the lead. Now we switch our attention to a side-by-side battle just outside the top 2 as they come out of the west end. Ooh, they get together coming out of turn number 4 right in front of the start gate.
It's the 321 of David Olson and the 114 of Olivo in that battle. But back on the west end high banks, your feature race leader onto the front straightaway. Checkered flag is going to fly for the 068 of Peyton Smith, taking the win for Burnmeister Auto Body and River Valley Repair.
Smith goes 2 for 2 tonight in this class, winning both main event wins. We'll let the rest of the field make their way across the checkered flag line to wrap up main event number 18, and we will give you the starting lineup for race 19.
Final main event for round number 1 of the 2025-2026 Sunday Funday season. The WSAX Open 2003-16 class. It's the 393 of Mitchell Fruth. In the WSAX Open 90-03 class, feature race winner was the 731 of Jaeger Cordes, alongside the 290 of Colin Schultz, the 1 of Tucker Kempe, and the 129 of Connor Schultz.
Cordes and Fruth are the 2 racers that we will want to focus on because they're going to try and back up their first main event wins with perhaps another main event wins here. Starter just in front of the competitors, getting ready to raise the green flag, and when he does, these sleds will be away for our final main event of round number 1. There's your green. They're down and away and headed towards the front straight.
731 of Jaeger Cordes on the inside. Gonna take the eventual hole shot there. Try to pull away from that 3-rider battle for second, third, and fourth. I saw Fruth sitting in third on the 393.
Cordes actually entered turn number 1 second, but was able to turn that inside run to his advantage. Now they're side by side for second and third, right behind your race leader as the separation opens up behind Cordes.
Half a straightaway lead going into turns 1 and 2 for Jager Cordes, and he is absolutely powering through the Send It squeeze, jumping into the Black Diamond drop as he makes his way onto the West End High Banks. He's got company a little bit behind him as we've got a 3-rider battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th raging on.
Yeah, that side-by-side battle for 2nd and 3rd has been decided. Now it's a 3-rider battle, as Zach was just mentioning, for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. 3rd and 4th trying to pull away from the 5th place rider, as we've got one sled off the track just outside of the fall-away field. That is a downward slope from turn 1 to turn 2. It looked like he may have lost grip on the handlebars there. Couldn't quite muscle that sled back to the straight and narrow.
Now that was good news for the 393 of Fruth. He was sitting in 4th, finished 2nd in the first main event. He's able to move up to 3rd place now, set his sights on that 2nd place rider, but out front, all alone, the 731 of Cordes, holding strong.
Jager Cordes, your race leader. I'm not sure if that, sled that went off turn number 2 is going to factor in to the final few laps. Nope, not going to at all. As the checkered flag is out, Cordes with the final W of the night in the WSA X Open 90-03 trail class.
Well, first race of the season officially in the books for the 2025-2026 Sunday Funday season here at Steeplechase Ski Resort as a part of the X Racing events. Dan, how'd you feel about tonight's racing action?
I got to tell you, one of the things that I love about this place is the facility. What a wonderful facility here. Those of us working with MBTV Sports, so happy to be at Steeplechase in Mazeppa. And now also, the other thing that I'm taking away from this is a very fun track. Even though it has the visual layout of a standard oval, a lot of elevation change from the front south straightaway to the back north straightaway. Both ends turns. Very interesting track, and we'll be back tomorrow to enjoy more green flag action with round number 2.
Thank you all for coming out here tonight. As Dan just said, we will be back for round 2 tomorrow. I believe riders meeting starts at 9:15. Practice starts at 10 a.m. Heats and features to follow. So thank you all for those who came out to tonight's racing action, live streamed for free on MBTVsports.com or through the MBTV Sports Facebook or YouTube pages. We will be back tomorrow morning for round number 2 of the 2025-2026 Sunday Funday season.
We did experience a few technical difficulties. I got to tell you, Mother Nature was not the biggest helper tonight. High winds, extremely low temperatures, played havoc with some of our technical equipment here, but somehow we muscled our way through. A big thank you to Matt Bowl and his expertise that was able to battle through the technical difficulties that we had. We apologize to those of you who may have missed some tonight, but I tell you one thing that I know Matt will do is he will try his darndest to make things better each and every following event here on MBTV Sports.
At AMRAMP Accessibility, our goal is to help people, and that means providing them with the best quality product and service possible. Built with powder-coated steel, our ramps are stronger and longer lasting than those built with wood or aluminum. Installed in a matter of days to ensure your safety as quickly as possible, our teams are here for you.
I can get out. Yeah, much easier. Better, a lot better. Yes, thank you.
I don't even have the words to explain how much easier it is. We're just so thankful for it, so thank you. Thank you very much.
Find your forward with AMRAMP Accessibility today. Learn more at amramp.com.
Every great journey begins with a trusted guide. And when it comes to finding your perfect home, there's no one better than Kathy Vetter. With over 10 years of experience and a passion for real estate, Kathy Vetter helps you find the perfect home, a peaceful country retreat, a cozy single-family house, or your very first step toward a lifetime home. She also specializes in commercial real estate, guiding you through every step of the way. From the heart of the metro to the scenic countryside, Kathy Vetter knows the Minnesota market inside and out, committed to finding the perfect fit for you, no matter where you are. Buying your first home can feel overwhelming, but with Vetter by your side, it's a smooth and exciting journey. She makes first-time buyers feel confident, supported, and understood every single step of the way. From your first showing to handing over the keys, Kathy Vetter works tirelessly to ensure you get the home you've always wanted. Kathy Vetter, your trusted real estate expert across Minnesota. From vibrant metro living to serene countryside escapes to agricultural and commercial spaces. Let her help you unlock the door to your next chapter.
Painful steps shouldn't be part of your daily routine. At Foot and Ankle Clinics, PA, we specialize in diagnosing and treating a wide range of foot and ankle conditions, from heel pain and bunions to diabetic foot care and sports injuries. Our board-certified podiatrists, Dr. Jeff Pellersells and Dr. Russell John Hill, bring decades of experience and a compassionate approach to every patient. At our clinic, we are dedicated to serving the community with the highest level of care. Your well-being is our top priority. Serving the communities of Woodbury, West St. Paul, and Edina, we're committed to providing personalized care tailored to your needs. Don't let foot or ankle pain hold you back. Visit footandankleclinics.com to schedule your appointment today.
Freight is the backbone of the country. And as long as people need goods, they're going to need somebody to get it to them. My name is Matt Bohl with QualityFreightRate.com, powered by T-Force Worldwide. We provide LTL, truckload, and expedited freight services across this country. If your freight weighs over 120 pounds going over 120 miles, that's where my shipping rates kick in. We help companies ship easier for less. With our system, our customers are able to quote and book shipments with ease 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you're having trouble with damages, lost freight, claims of any sort, we can help you with our experience, solve the problem, tell you why it's happening and what you should do to prevent it in the future. Me and my team have been together for over 20 years. We know this industry. We can help all size business, big or small. We love them all, but we have a special spot for small business. Small businesses are pillars in the community. Low rates are critical for a small business because the margins are generally pretty small. They need to have competitive rates. They can't be getting gouged or they lose the sale. Freight is simple. People make it difficult. We work as consultants in the industry, so it doesn't matter what your problem is, we'll solve it. We educate the customers, we solve problems, and we lower their shipping rates. And that's what I've been doing for 20 plus years.
When you push your engine to the limit, on the track, the farm, or the highway, only one name delivers unmatched protection. Schaefer's specialized lubricants. With over 180 years of proven performance, professionals don't guess. They trust Schaefer's. And in our region, there's one guy who makes it happen. William Denzer. Racers, farmers, fleets. They all call William because he's reliable, knowledgeable, and gets results. So support the brands and people who support racing. Call William today, 651-253-0999, or email denzer.schaefer.sales@gmail.com. Schaefer's, trusted since 1839. Power in every drop.
My two passions in life is racing and selling good high-end meat. So my grandfather came here from Germany back in the late 20s. He decided to open his own shop in 1951. He had all the recipes, he had all the talent. His father was a meat guy. His father's father was a butcher. They weren't football players, basketball players. They were in the meat business. And that's our family. That's what we're good at. Old World Meats was derived from Frank's Meats. That was my grandfather's name. I know the quality of my beef is the best because I've purchased it directly from the ranchers that certified Angus beef. We know what our beef is continuously and it's very consistent. So we're located up here in Duluth on beautiful Lake Superior, just a stone throw off of Highway 61. I've lived here my whole life and it's where I wanted to raise my family. To be successful, you need to have a talent. And I knew I was going to be in the meat business. I can taste spices, I can pick out flavors, where they need to come in, where they need to stop. So knowing your strengths are important and knowing where you came from. We have a hot snack stick that's got actually 8 different spices of heat in that, and it layers the flavors in the heat. That's what makes the difference with our product. The most exciting part was becoming coast to coast with the Old World Meats snack sticks. My neighbor stopped me on the street and said, "Paul, I was just down in Georgia and this gas station had your product." It was one of the highlights of the year. I don't know of a state at this point that we haven't had product in. Being in business in a small town really puts things into perspective. It's the little things for me to be appreciated and respected. So this whole operation here doesn't have to be the biggest, but it needs to have passion. And today, I'm changing lives of people that work with me. My guys are learning lifelong skills and values. That's the good stuff. Let's make the world a better place. Let's have a good time at it.
Ready to make a splash this summer? Grab your friends and head to River's Edge on the scenic Apple River. Whether you're looking to float the day away, camp under the stars, or catch live music and weekend events, River's Edge has everything you need for an unforgettable time. Book your tube, campsite, or party package now. River's Edge on the Apple River. Your summer starts here.
Yeah, Butler-Built has been a supporter of mine for a long time. I've always run Butler-Built seats ever I got into 410 sprint car racing, and I feel like they have the nicest aluminum seats out there. The craftsmanship, the welding on it is top notch, and now they're pouring my inserts and have the gravel cut seat and gives you a lot of clearance for your hybrid or your Hans, and I feel like, there's no better seat out there. Yeah, I mean, a little bit of feedback, right? These guys do it every day. So as me as a sprint car driver specifically, every form of dirt racing, the seats are built different. And guys like us, drivers are wearing holes in their hybrids because they're rubbing on the seats, and felt like there was a need for a little bit of a new design and a new generation of the sprint car advantage seats. So yeah, it's been a fun ride, and hope to continue the relationship for a long time.
Kevco has been an industry leader in high-performance oil pans and components for over 35 years. Made in Fairmont, Minnesota, Kevco prides itself on being American-made. Kevco has expanded our product line way beyond just oil pans to valve covers, breather systems, jack stands, boilers, wheel sockets, and much, much more. Check out KevcoRacing.com to see everything we have to offer, including our line of street, off-road, and performance oil pans and accessories. Or call 800-770-3557 to talk with our friendly customer service today.
When you've got to ship it from anywhere to anywhere,
QualityFreightRate.com.
The LTL Freight Logistics Specialist for your small business.
QualityFreightRate.com.
We simplify shipping, eliminate those surprise charges, and negotiate the best rates from most LTL qualified carriers.
QualityFreightRate.com.
Special residential and liftgate rates available for automotive and ag implements.
QualityFreightRate.com.
Use the promo code ICE and get 10% off your first shipment. Startup is so easy. Get a quote and ship today. QualityFreightRate.com.